Hey everybody, it's been a while since we have been out here. How is everybody doing? You guys know what to do regardless of what platform you are watching the live tonight. Show some love. Let me know that you are here and where you are watching. Let me know that you are here and where you're watching from. So for those of you who do not know me, I am Lena Lassiter. I have my master's in human services counseling with a concentration in crisis and trauma. I'm an advanced grief recovery method specialist, director in corporate America, author and founder and president of Forever Healed. For those of you who don't know what we do, we are a nonprofit, and what we do is we help those who are suffering from unresolved grief of any kind. We help them through one-to-one group grief recovery classes and group classes. We also help them to restore and reclaim their lives, right? To recover from the associated pain. We are also proud advocates for homicide survivors, and we are partners of the Richmond City Jail. We present grief, empathy, and wellness training in corporate. So again, let me know that you are here. We are going to be talking about grief associated with Valentine's Day tonight. Wendy, hi Wendy Lee. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. How are you? It's so good, my cousin. Wendy Lee. So tonight we're going to be talking about grief associated with Valentine's Day. So we're going to spend a few minutes to discuss coping recommendations. So we're going to just kind of jump in and out. But again, you guys know what to do. Please ask questions as we go along tonight as well, okay? And I'll jump over and respond to your questions. So tonight, we're going to spend a few moments to discuss Valentine's Day grief and a few coping recommendations. So remember that grief is the end of or change in a familiar pattern or behavior. It's the normal reaction to a loss. It's actually a growth process that must be lived. So you can't go to a department store right now. You can't go to a drugstore, a grocery store without seeing what? You're seeing those red balloons. You're seeing Valentine's Day cards. You are seeing flowers, candy, right? All these reminders of Valentine's Day. But also, this may also be triggering for those who are suffering a loss. So let's talk about that. So regardless of a breakup or a death, please allow yourself to feel what you feel. Please allow yourself to feel what you feel. For those of you who have just jumped on, please let me know that you are here and where you are watching from. Let me know that you are here and where you're watching from. For those of you who have just popped on, we're talking about grief associated with Valentine's Day. So again, I said you cannot go into a drugstore, you cannot go into a grocery store, right, without seeing these big red balloons, candy, flowers, Valentine's Day cards. So for some, this could be triggering for those of us who are suffering from a loss. So I see some comments. Hi, Tanya. Thank you. Wendy says she's grieving a husband that she hasn't met yet. Yeah. Good. Hi, Minister Ross. All right, watching from the movie theater. Come on now. Come on. So, good evening, Minister Ross. Thank you for joining. And always supporting. I really appreciate you. So I'm going to start the conversation tonight to address those who may be suffering a breakup. Your loss is because of a breakup. Yeah, believe it or not, guess what? We grieve breakups. We grieve the relationship that's ended. We also grieve our hopes, our dreams, the expectations that we had in this relationship, right? So this person being in our future. So we will grieve that as well. So yes, you will trigger sometimes. There may be triggers of emotions of grief, due to a breakup. Because remember that familiar pattern, it's changed, right? That person is no longer in your life. And you may have had hopes and dreams and expectations for this person to be in your life, for a long period of time. And now they're not. So that may trigger emotions of grief. So I just want to educate you there, okay? So how do we get through that? Because sometimes when a relationship ends, we may have questions about the breakup. You may even question yourself in terms of the role that you may have played in the demise of the relationship, right? So let's dive into some quick recommendations, again, to help you heal. I cannot say it enough, guys, that there's no right or wrong way to process your grief because it's your grief and it's individual and unique to you. But hopefully this conversation tonight and the following recommendations will help you as you navigate your emotions and return to a healthier state. Okay? So the loss related to a breakup, it may stir up emotions of grief. Again, unrealized hopes, unrealized dreams, expectations. Again, there may be some unanswered questions or lack of closure. And people who tell me that there's lack of closure, I always say because there are questions that are unanswered. So what do? Ask clarifying questions. It's okay to go to your ex and ask clarifying questions. But I want you to go in understanding that your ex may not be able to articulate the responses. So please extend some grace and enter into the conversation knowing this, right? So if you were able to get your questions answered, hopefully this will help you to not feel stuck. So when people say, I just feel stuck or I don't have any closure, it's because there are unanswered questions that you want answered. But again, your ex may not be able to articulate their responses, or they may not give you the responses that you truly want to hear. So again, we're talking about breakups, y'all. For those of you who just joined, let me know that you're here. So number one, I want you to ask clarifying questions. Number two, this one might be a little ouch, and you might not want to hear this one, but trust me, leave your ex alone. Leave them alone. Everybody say it with me. Leave your ex alone. So sometimes you may have to delete phone numbers. You may have to unfollow them on social media. Listen, you do not need to see what they're posting. You do not need to see where they're going. You do not need to see who they're dating, right? Because it's going to prolong your grief. It's just going to prolong your grief. So if it's not going to benefit you, leave your ex alone. And there are some people who say, well, Lena, you know what? We still want to be friends. Sometimes that's okay, but it may get to a point. You may have to get to a point before you can do that. You may have to get to a point where you are healed before you get to that place, right? Because sometimes people break up and get back together, and sometimes they do their own soul searching, their own healing, right? But in the meantime, while you are healing, please just leave them alone. Okay, delete the phone numbers, unfollow them, leave them alone because it's just going to prolong your grief. And then I want you to self-reflect. Take some time to self-reflect. So if the relationship was unhealthy, take the time to soul search and discover why you were drawn to that relationship. Maybe there's some unresolved grief and pain that you have from your childhood or adolescence. Maybe you were abused as a kid and you ended up in an abusive relationship because that's what you're used to. And maybe you need to heal from that to understand that you are worth more than that. So self-reflect, right? So when you lose someone, there's a healthy growth that takes place. And this allows a person to avoid making the same mistakes in the future. All right, so while you're self-reflecting, I want you to ask yourself the question, who am I? Or rediscover who you are. So there's a breakup, right? You're going to ask clarifying questions. You're going to leave your ex alone. You're going to self-reflect. And during this self-reflection, you're going to ask yourself the question, who am I? Who are you outside of that relationship? What hopes and dreams would you like to accomplish? Revisit some of these things. And you know what? Don't just revisit them, complete them. Complete them. So when you lose someone, there's a healthy growth process involved. And the self-reflection period allows time to understand what works in a relationship, what doesn't work, and how you can mitigate the things that didn't work in the future. All right, so take that time to discover who you are. Who are you? Now, if your loss is due to the death of a loved one, remember again, I want you to feel what you feel. It's okay. I can't say that enough. I don't like when people say, well, you shouldn't feel that way. Or no, you don't feel that way. Yes, I do. I do. I'm not going to feel this way forever, but I do feel this way right now. Right? And that's okay. So the first thing I want you to do, if you have lost someone due to death, and Valentine's Day is just, it's hard, it's challenging. I want you to take the pressure off. So what do you mean by that, Lena? If you choose not to celebrate the day, again, it's okay. Despite societal pressures, there is no right or wrong way to grieve. And I cannot express that enough. I cannot express that enough. But if you feel like, celebrating the day, then that's okay as well. But just take the pressure off and say, you know what, I'm not even going to acknowledge this Valentine's Day today because I show love every day. I receive love every day. I'm just not going to get bogged down, in it. It's okay. It's all right. And for those of you who have been following me and watching the lives, I'm going to say journal. And you probably say, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of her talking about journaling. But recording your feelings can be therapeutic. Explore your innermost emotions and ideas. Right. Because sometimes when you write, you will share some things that you may not ever vocalize to someone. Right. You're just sharing your innermost feelings. So again, I don't know how to journal, Lena. I don't know where to start. Start with how you feel. What's the one word? How you feel. And journaling doesn't mean that you necessarily feel bad or sad. You could be having a great day. Right? How do you feel? Why do you feel that way? And if your emotions are, you do feel sad, well, what's making you feel sad? And what can you do not to feel sad? Right? And that will help you with your journaling. That's how you can start your journaling process. And then honor your loved one. Honor them. Remember them. Honor them. However it looks to you in a meaningful way. Right? So donate or volunteer at his or her favorite charity. You can make a contribution. You can make a memory Valentine's Day wreath and you can put it on your door. You can make a memory box and you can have your family members or friends buy favorite pictures of your loved one. They can write a favorite note, like write a note, right? Something that they missed or learned from your loved one. And then that can be your Valentine's gift box. And you can read that. And it'll make you smile, remembering how your loved one touched the lives of others. Watch his or her favorite movie. Make his or her favorite meal. There are some ways that you can just honor the life of your loved one. And some people say, well, you know what, Lena, what if I don't want to do any of that? I just want to take care of me. And people say that, and I say, it's okay. And that's self-love, right? So grief can take both a mental and physical toll on those who are bereaved. So make sure you're eating, y'all. Make sure you're sleeping. Make sure you're exercising. I don't care if it's just going up 5 steps a day. Make sure you're moving. Go walk your dog. Just go outside in your backyard. Whatever that is, just get some movement in, right? And if you feel too exhausted to prepare a meal, because some people say that, I'm too tired. I'm just too tired to even prepare a meal. Well, order in. That's okay. And then I want you to find local resources because there are bereavement resources in every state. So check your local listings for support groups. They can be virtual or in person. Some groups get together on Valentine's Day and they plan activities. They plan trips or meals, and for those grieving a breakup, if you feel like going out, schedule a night out with other singles, your friends that you are connected to. Find some things to do, in common. It's okay. And last but not least, definitely not least, if you need to talk to a professional, do it. Do it. Again, if we were to break our legs, the first thing we would do is to go seek medical treatment. But when our hearts are broken, we want to dismiss it, we want to mask, and we want to pretend like nothing's happening. So if you need to seek professional help, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't fall into the stigma around that. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comment. You guys know I will be more than happy to address any questions that you have. For those of you who are going to be watching this replay, we'll be checking for your questions and responding to your questions as well. So if you want to consult regarding unresolved grief, please reach out to us, 804-684-1113. Or foreverheal.com. There we are. You can email us at contactus@foreverheal.com. I want you to share this video if you think that it will help, someone else. I really appreciate you guys doing that. And I want to thank all of you for joining me tonight. Again, if you feel this broadcast will bless others, share it. Share it. And the one thing that I want you to do is to have an awesome night of rest. I want you to have peaceful rest. And I want you to have some joy and some love in your heart this Valentine's Day. So if nobody else tell you, I love you, I appreciate you, you are worth your healing, and I want you all to be blessed. It's okay, Tanya, that you're late. I'm glad that you are here. Thank you. Thank you, beautiful woman of God. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Well, I love you guys. Have a great night. We'll be back in 2 weeks in honor of Black History Month. I have a special guest coming on with me in 2 weeks. You don't want to miss it. And we'll start putting some advertisement out about it in a couple of days. All right. Good night, guys. I love you all. Be blessed.